Hi guys, welcome to this week's earnings season. I'm Randy Rowe
And
at
then I.
RT.
Oh yes. Okay. I'm sorry, sir. I cut you off there.
No, it's alright. I don't even care. People know by now. At RT Rowe on Twitter. If you don't know, you know. Sorry about that.
And I'm Danai at H&I on Twitter. I guess I was really eager
I-
to say my name there. Well, huh? We missed last
right.
week.
Yeah, we have. I think we've missed 2 weeks now. So I think the people might be itching. Did we miss 2 weeks? Or I think I missed every other week. I think I've accidentally turned the podcast into a fortnightly podcast. Which might happen, guys. So if it's not official yet, we've just been really busy and had bad schedules and bad internet and all kinds of things. But we're back and we want to wrap at least 20 companies, hopefully, in this episode. We want to really get this series wrapped up. So myself and Danai are going to not rush, but we're going to push through these companies, because I didn't realize how many we had ahead of us. And I mean, we're recording this now when June done. And what was a hell of a good day.
Yep.
For the markets, right?
Interesting day.
Yeah. I want to look at I just mention anything major that has happened recently. I mean, there are a couple of financials that are out, but as it is now, I think one of the most anticipated ones is still JMB, still not out. Jamaica Teas, I see the directors exercise their options that they spoke to us about.
800,000.
Yes, maybe that's why they had to. I mean, they were smart. They had not smart, but they're fortunate, I should say, that they had their AGM right before. Did they? They had their AGM right before Corona, no so?
No, man, AGM was recent.
Or it was mentioned.
Oh no, so they put a proposal out for the thing there for the changes.
Yeah, and the changes have to be done at an AGM, or was it going to be an EGM?
Actually, I had a conversation about it recently. I just need to just actually double down on what actually happened.
There was an AGM scheduled for March 20th. But they also still did
They did the AGM recently, very recently, last week I believe.
No, yeah, they're part of the sorry, what I'm thinking here was that they were able to get their AGM in before Corona hit, but no, they were not. What they did was they got the board meeting in where they told us about the resolutions for it.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Yeah, and then Corona hit and it had to get put off. So the JSC did that whole special session in court in order to allow a lot of companies to hold an AGM.
I'm not sure. Don't was a part of it.
I believe they were, man.
Sorry?
No, I'm not going to swear to it, but I believe they were.
Let me check.
Notice is hereby given. I'm looking at a reconvening notice. 2019 AGM for members of the company has been rescheduled and will be held at the Pegasus on the 17th of June.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to wear masks. I watched it, so they streamed it.
Yeah, but I don't think they voted on anything, did they?
They did. They voted, but they removed the stock split from the stock split decision. Yeah, and I think what they're doing there was they're being safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just in case that any shareholders in the future choose to challenge the AGM, even though they followed the law.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they decided, put the stock split decision a little further down the road when people can actually reconvene again. I guess when COVID lift up completely, or when we've gotten more used to you working with it. But the other things, if memory serves me, I believe I had an episode. I don't remember which episode. Somebody can check right now if you're a good fan, or you can check earningseasonpodcast.com and look at all the episodes and see what episode it was that we spoke about the things with Jamty and QWI.
Yeah.
These guys can hear it from Danai's yarn. We are recording this late again. I don't know if there's anything else major. What else happened recently, Danai? Because I don't want us to be so non-current.
True.
And I know a lot of stuff has happened.
Yeah, quite a bit has happened. I think what's hitting me? We missed a week. So
yes, so you don't know what is new from what is old from what is really old. Yeah, Pulse put out their their COVID
Yes.
plans. Big up Philberg Invest. You said it to me. I say, "Oh, bossy, look." He was saying that it's like big talk from the Pulse team, which is essentially they're saying that about 2 to 3% of the business was affected for the year by COVID. So,
Yeah.
and only 10% impact really
Mm-hmm.
being felt. 10% of the business being feeling the impact of that. Funny wording as always.
Yep. Quite interesting.
Yeah. Interesting wording, because I think it's possible for many to think that means 10% of the business comes from the things that were named, which was namely, I think, the hotel business and the hotels business and the hosting of Caribbean Fashion Week, which would have been put off because of coronavirus with COVID-19
and international model agency commissions.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was very careful wording. But yeah, because I think it was meant to convey something very clearly, with the implication of something else. I don't think those are 10% of the business, but regardless, I mean, I still really like Pulse, and I see they've ended the quarter very nicely.
Yeah,
they've ended the quarter up quite a bit.
Sir. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they fell from yesterday. Yesterday ended at $3.11, but they've ended today at and ended the quarter, because we're recording this at the end of the quarter, at $3.25. Wow, that is up even more. Sorry, I'm surprised. I looked at the market earlier today, and this wasn't the figure I've seen.
Yep, 10 million shares traded today. A high of 342.
Wow, Pulse is always so exciting.
Indeed.
Around these times,
you've made some good money.
Yeah, big up the top striker. I see her tweeting how she's been enjoying the past few weeks.
Yep.
Yeah. Big up Shadis. I mentioned it when she together. We've had her, and the girl people really love it, Shanice. The feedback has been strong. I'll share that with you. But Paul's excited, and I guess maybe people are excited about possible APO news. Maybe
they did indicate that they're going that route, so might be near, might be close. So key insurance, some senior management changes.
I believe somebody had left.
Yeah, the finance director, limited office, June 19th.
The management of Key has changed, but there's no surprise there. They have new ownership, so obviously, yeah. When you own something, you put in your people. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
go in your direction.
Yep.
Exactly. Still interesting, Key. I would mention APO earlier, so I guess it's almost mandatory that I have to mention Barita, who also ended the quarter.
Ended the quarter up as well.
Yeah. So almost a sharp increase just over the last few days. Ended the quarter at $60.36. Yeah. And when you could have picked it up for as low as $49 during the past few weeks. Yeah. And it has averaged in the $50 range, especially the low 50s for the quarter. Yeah, since the quarter start. So Barita continues to be interesting. It might get even more interesting now. It's funny that a lot of people bought into it right before the APO announcement, and I mean, we're not sure what the terms of the APO are, right? We're not sure what the price is, but I guess people are so confident, or maybe you think it's a misunderstanding, or you think it's just people covering their bets? Who knows? Who knows? Well, anything else you think happened? Anything else? I feel like I'm forgetting stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been a while. People in time, this happens to us when you should say email us, email us, and tell us what topics you'd like us to talk about. Maybe we can make some of the interesting ones happen.
Next interesting general accident increases shareholding in Motor One. So the Trinidad company they own, the general insurance company that they bought into, they've increased their shareholding to 65%.
Wow.
Yep.
Big implications. Started out with both the Trinidad and Barbadian holdings. Motor One was a big grab for them. Motor One is the biggest taxi insurer in Trinidad. Has locations all over Trinidad, and Trinidad actually going through some eruption now.
Yeah.
Rough.
I've seen some videos with some rioting, it looks like. And police saying, hey, just make sure we video when you're shooting.
Everybody afraid now, as they should be. I want people to stay safe. The petty side of me is remembering all the comments that were on Twitter in 2010 when Jamaica was going through its stuff. So really sad to see that somewhere like Trinidad is going through that now, Rough. Guyana, I'm more worried about. Guyana seems to have inherited the oil curse early. My God.
Election.
The long-lasting election.
Yep.
The election where nobody has decided. No one is refusing. Is saying, okay, we've stood down. Recount happen. Yeah, that's the oil curse, and I'm wondering how that will get sorted out, because right now is not the time to have any eruption. Politics. Yeah. Everybody has it. Wow. Well, on that dark note, let's go into the review. Let me just jump right into it. The last time we spoke about lumber. That's where we ended. So we're kicking it off now with MAILPAC.
Yep. So MAILPAC doing well since their last results.
Yeah. Their last results, where the last results were pretty strong, right? They had, I think, one of the things that jumped to my mind immediately is that they had stronger profits, or is it stronger revenue? There's one of the results were stronger.
Just open the document.
in Q1 than it was for the Christmas quarter, which is usually their strongest, which indicates
they had some strong numbers last time.
Yeah. I think what a lot of people now are expecting is that Corona will allow them to have even stronger results, because so many people have been home and they have delivery services, and of course a lot of shipping still happens. That I think they have more space in terms of presence of mind for consumers now, in terms of drop shipping and their services that they're offering.
But this was thing there. They had a little bump recently, and this was after the dividend announcement. So they come to the dividend.
Their share price?
Yeah, so June 25, they put out a thing there. Yeah, and you can see since it was June, on the day it was 185, and it's moved up now to 195.
Yeah, and immediately the next day, it jumped. Yeah,
so 2 million shares traded on that day. On the day after that, 786,516,000. Yeah, man. So people are anticipating a good dividend, I believe.
I think so. I think dividends are becoming. I think there are some people in the dividend market, the dividend market, doing some strong hunting. I see some people know that the financials not giving the easy ones. Like NCB zone still shut down. Who said they paid? Somebody paid the other day, or said they would pay in light of the BOJ's revised request. I don't know who it was, but I should probably do an entire episode just on that, because I don't know how legal it is for them to be able to do what they said they have done or intend to do. But I will see if I can get legal minds much brighter than my own to come in and comment on it. But MAILPAC, people expecting it to be good. And as you say, dividend consideration.
But the thing there, the profit was up.
Wow. And the profit was higher than it was in their December quarter.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Good increase on the December quarter. Yeah. Which is generally a strong quarter for them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what people think, because they'd have a lot of shipping during the Christmas time. And what's enticing, another thing that's enticing about this is that, I mean, like you said, revenue didn't rise much. 364 million, 364 point, call it 0.8 million. versus last quarter, not same quarter last year, last quarter, which would be October to December 2019, it was 361.7 million.
Yep.
But the profit is up from 96.8 million to 101.9, which is that greater efficiencies? I mean, it's a greater margin, but I don't know if it truly is an efficiency-led margin. Probably not. The gross profit itself is down. But selling and distribution
you
costs,
look at the thing, yes, admin expenses and were less. So the expenses were less there. So it might be efficiencies on that side. That maybe what the shift in the business, it's more efficient on that side. So what they're doing now, and where they're making up for what will fall off in the business from before with the new business, it might be that the newer business might be more efficient.
Oh, a higher margin arm is contributing more.
Yeah,
I get you. It never occurred to me to check the MD&A. The director's report, I mean.
Let me scroll up there too.
Yeah. Still that's a habit I have where the last thing I read is that.
Yep.
Expenses comprise mostly staff costs, advertising expenses, and store operating expenses.
Which we can see, by reading it.
So, right?
There's a reason we read this fast.
Yeah, this is where the tricky part. This is the tricky part. This part is art sometimes. I enjoy a good
MD&A.
A well-written one. A trickily written one. Not because it gives me information, but it gives a additional information about how good the people writing it are. I mean, they seem to hint at the amalgamation of the business lines being the reason for it. But oh well. I mean, MAILPAC, their business continues to be a good one. Obviously a strong one.
Yep.
Pulls money.
It has good direction. It has good potential. It can go in a very good place.
Exactly. I mean, it has been, and it's growing, right? That's wonderful. It's at $101 million worth of profit in a quarter, and your business is actually growing. That is wonderful. And you're in a sector that is growing, and who knows what can come in the future, right? And you're paying a dividend in your first year. You're not even listed 1 year yet. Well, I shouldn't say you're paying a dividend. You're considering a dividend.
Yep. Interim dividend.
Interim dividend, yeah. That's. I mean, I hope they pay one. What kind of dividend do you think they'll pay?
The amount?
Yeah, I mean the yield, because I think the yield is going to be tagged to IPO price.
Yeah.
In consideration, because God, before you hear we said that that's what dividends are tagged to. I'm sorry guys, that's me slipping into some of the easier conversation. I know that I understand, so let me be clear. The dividend being tagged to IPO price is me saying that I believe that the board, when considering what to pay as a dividend, would be considering the average yield of the investor who would have gotten in at the IPO price, which at the time would have been $1.
Mm-hmm. What's their thing then? What's their dividend? Their dividend
policy
75 or something like that.
I don't know. Look it up, and I will look at how the cash stay. Cash and cash equivalents. 194 mil.
75% on their profits.
Up to? How the wording on that go?
Oh, definitely up to.
What the actual wording say?
Companies admitted to JSE. Directors intend to pursue a dividend policy that projects an annual dividend of 75% of net profits available for distribution.
Yeah, of course, after blah blah blah.
Yeah,
the need to reinvest. Up to 75%, but realistically, this is their first quarter report. They follow the calendar year.
This is their. Their 3 months ended March. But you know that, right. Yeah. I figure it's first quarter. but
Yeah.
they have 194 million in cash.
Yeah, it is their first quarter. They do follow the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
What were you saying just now about the cash?
194 million.
Oh yeah.
And if you look at the thing, their expenses ain't not that bad actually.
No, it's a well-run business. It's a clean business. I really do like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not heavily burdened by much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're I like the business. Obviously, I just wondering what kind of dividend could come out of it. I don't see them paying over 1%. That would be amazing if they paid a 1% on this one, right? Imagine that, amazing, 1%. You're saying something just now, Danae?
I can see that 75 being paid out without a problem.
Yeah, no doubt, right? As in, can they do it? Of course.
Yeah.
But what do they usually? I mean, they're well, yeah. They're for a quarter,
2 million.
70. No, I don't think they could do that. I mean, it cost them 76 mil to run the business for this quarter, right?
Mm-hmm. 194 in cash.
That's a lot. Yeah. All right, fine. But I'm sure they have other plans.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to keep yourself too low.
Yeah. And they did.
What's the retained earnings?
A good amount of the money there was from the raise itself, right? Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Let me check.
I mean, a lot of the money went to paying debt, which I did in December. They paid on 200 million worth of debt in December. In the December quarter, I should say. A 265 mil worth of it. But that was part of IPO proceeds. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was said as upfront as one. Yes, it was as one of the reasons for the IPO and the use of proceeds from it. These guys might actually pay an impressive dividend. Impressive as dividends. Well, impressive for where they are. You think? I mean, I think I'd like to think that they would be left to keep a lot of cash on hand in order to shore up. Remember that they're pushing, a brand new business line now,
Yes, that would be the thing.
So that does come with its own costs and there's marketing costs. But regardless, they do have enough. You never know. But I think that they do have enough to pay. It'll be interesting. A 1% dividend.
Well, 75. That's the thing there. 75 mil. That will be thing there.
But bear in mind, the 100 mil is one quarter. You think they do it every quarter? You think they do quarterly payments?
I'm not sure. They should have looking at how much it costs them in the quarter, but business tend to be kind of conservative at the front at the start of the year.
How much what costs them?
They might say we don't know what might happen for the end of the year. So
how much? Sorry, what was that? What you said might cost?
They might just be conservative because it's the first quarter for the year, so they might just say, have some cash on hand for whatever rocks reach them by the end of the year.
Well, I mean, yeah, but if they're considering the dividend now, they're considering it in the middle of the year, post-corona, so they have a good idea of whatever the plans are and whatever the impact. I believe by now they'll have a good idea of whatever.
No, man, that's fine. No, but I'm saying that the thing there, I call it again, the payment itself might be a conservative payment. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, that's why. Yeah, I would be surprised if it's more than 1 cent.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's more than 1 cent, which would be 1%. 1% as at IPO price.
Yeah. Yeah, that standard 1 cent dividend, 1% dividend.
I really hope I'm wrong. I hope them blow us out of the water like a 4% dividend. That's what, 250 million? They can't do a 1 cent dividend. I don't think they can do a 1 cent. They cannot do a 1 cent dividend. So it's going to definitely be lower than 1 cent. Yeah, they can't afford that. They can't even do a half of a cent dividend. Maybe they do 20% of a cent, 0.002.
Wait, what do you mean? Why they can't do thing there? A 1 cent dividend.
I've been counting my zeros wrong. My God, they can't do one. Wait.
Yeah, 25 mil.
Yes, sorry, I've been counting my zeros wrong.
Easy pay out that. Them good, man.
Yeah, they can more than do a 1 cent dividend. Yeah. Wow.
Maybe they got 2% at most.
Yeah, I guess.
So that's below the mandate thing there level, the policy level. 75 mil will be around 75 mil will be the policy thing there, the policy cap.
Yeah.
So maybe they got 2 cents. But 1 cent is an easy payment.
Yeah, and leaves them with a lot of room.
Yeah.
So it's something nice, but you're still left with a lot of room.
Jamaica is doing the perpetual. Let's bring in the unbanked and da. I think MAILPAC is working hard with that, especially with the thing they did with Western Union, where you can be a MAILPAC through that instead of necessarily having a bank account or such. Was it Western Union?
I don't know if Western Union. I know there's a lot of.
No, Western Union we're doing their own thing. MAILPAC has a special the thing they card.
Their own card.
Yeah, they have their own card.
A MasterCard.
Western Union do not compete in business. My bad.
It's okay, they don't sponsor, so it's alright. But yeah, I mean, we've spent. You remember? So last time we were doing this 8-minute thing, we've blown that out of the water on MAILPAC to say how we feel about it. Which I think by now, I mean, you have a good idea how we feel. What we should say, which we have been lazy and not saying, is that this show is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and neither is Dan I have. Yeah, don't take this as financial advice. Anything you hear here,
opinions.
Think about it, consider it, carry to your licensed financial advisor, please. All right. MAILPAC, I mean, continues to be nice. Let's see what happens. Let's see how this dividend influences that dividend hunger market. Yeah. And I think I'm going to have to do the next advanced grow on long-term and big money trading. Like some of the strategies there, people who want to hunt for dividends. So included in that would be like, an actual dividend hunting strategy. Things like that. The things I haven't heard anybody really talking about yet.
Everybody talk about dividends. I want to be a dividend investor, but nobody really talks like they want to be a dividend investor.
Right? Yeah, there are ways to do it. There are aggressive ways to do it. So where if you're serious about a dividend, it's serious. A true dividend strategy is a cash strategy, A true dividend strategy is a cash producing, cash spitting strategy.
Mm-hmm. Well, even like the thing that in the long term, I want to live on my dividends way in the future. I don't think we talk to that. Like this is the simple what you need to do to get there. Nobody speaks to that.
Mm-hmm. And what the aggressive build up to make it worth it thing is, or even not aggressive, even just here the form every quarter there are a set of moves you do to generate the most, or these are the things you look for, but it's coming. Well, let me not pour out anything else. It'll come in time. So MAILPAC look nice in my eyes. They look like in a nice position.
Yeah.
And they're still below $2. So assuming Corona gives them even better results, who knows? I mean, they're mostly fairly. They're a little undervalued, but you could say fairly, but not for a junior market company growing. Okay, who knows? Next up is MDS. I feel like I've spoken about MDS before.
Sure.
Maybe when we were doing results. I mean, MDS closed today at $6.40. Roughly fair value PE of 18.7 times. Actually down, meaning 6.4 is down from where it has been in the quarter. I think it had a quarter's high of $7.50. But I could be wrong in that region. So now down to 6.40. But a dip today. Maybe some people are cashing out.
And we're missing the audited financials.
Well, I think they're under the same. That'll be their full year, right? Because their full year ends March 2020.
and they said they're a delayed submission
to
due to
July
challenges. Yeah.
15th.
Mhm.
COVID-19, right?
Yep.
So who knows? Maybe they have a really good set of results coming for the year. I know up to their 9-month mark, they were at 29.2 million in 9 months, which is way below where they were the year before,
Mhm.
which was 54.6 million.
But people have been saying, oh, there might be one business that benefit from COVID.
Yeah. At one point, I know they were limiting sales for some of the supplies because they had such heavy demand.
Exactly.
It's a long time to not have heard from them.
You usually have questioned on certain things. What supplies exactly, and how much those actually contribute to usual sales. What are they down on selling right now? They never think they went to selling into distributing sweetie.
Mm-hmm.
How that looking right now?
Because I mean, maybe a huge part of that might have been schools.
Mm-hmm.
All those sweets are all over, but yeah. And distribution generally doesn't. It's like a 1 to 2% business if you're lucky. Yeah. So.
You just look at the brands and you can say, "Oh, cool. Are they doing as well as I think they were doing?" Just look at that. Just look at the places where you think, "Oh, COVID would affect them," and then you have to look at how that usually affects the business, and then you can see, "Oh, are they up on because of COVID or whatever?"
Yeah. I mean, who knows? It might be an easy one.
Indeed.
To see if they save the company in the last quarter of the year. Yeah. It'd be a hell of a save. I don't think they can save it. They ended their previous year at 112 million in profit on 2.2 billion in revenue. And up to December, they're at 1.7 billion in revenue. And like I said before, 29.2 million in profit. So I don't see where it's coming.
When we had our group link up, the chairman walked in. He walked into the thing there, into the room, into the he was there. It was at the link up, but he walked.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was there. Yeah. Yes. Well, it's a great business to own if you own a whole heap of it.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah. I think that speaks to how it speaks to how I feel about it. I'm no, what's drumming in my head is what the hell could be really causing if the revenue has increased, what the hell could be causing where are they losing money? What exactly increased? 40 odd is more than 40 odd million. Like 50 odd million in the expenses, right? It's admin expenses that have increased a bit, and selling and promo costs that have increased. And there's a bit of a swing back in, I guess, other expenses the year before. The year before had a positive, but I guess there's maybe a cashback, or I don't know. But the selling costs going up is not necessarily a nice thing. It'll be very good to see those audited numbers too.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope it doesn't have like a huger other expenses line.
Indeed.
Yeah, tired of those. So MDS, I mean, okay company in my view. Like I said, I'd love to own it if I owned a lot of it.
Yep.
Yeah. Otherwise, maybe I would look at the Main Event Entertainment Group, one of the directly affected Corona companies.
Woo. Why rough on them still? Heavy in the entertainment sector, and you know that go. After the revenue was cut off with this thing there, with COVID, the party stopped keep.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's going outside, right?
There's no more carnival.
Yeah, some of the biggest events and the biggest times. Now we're heading into summer and there's no parties. All.
Yeah.
So no party, no nothing. Even AGMs get put off, which should have been a nice source of business for them also. I mean, some of them still happened.
Yeah, channel star. Rough one.
Yeah, pretty rough. But
so I expect a big chop in the revenue, almost up.
Right. Well, I mean, they just put out numbers up for the 6 months. The 6 months ended April 30th. So they just put out numbers this week, the Q2 numbers, and they have no for the quarter. They do have a big drop, yes, for the quarter. 286.6 million is what 0.7 million is what they made for this quarter, and the same period last year was 438.
Yep.
Wow, so it's dropping from 438 to 286. Wow, major revenue drop, but impressively, on the 6 months, revenue does not seem to have fallen as much. It fell from 895.8 to 884.8. That's actually impressive. I guess the first quarter. Well, the first quarter would have been the Christmas quarter, so we know that was a huge one.
A huge one for them.
Wow, that really kind of saved them.
So we said this. Do we say it here?
Yes, we
say
did
that it's
say
a damn good thing they had such a great quarter going into this.
I don't know if it was on a podcast or the fans will make us know. But wow, on the bright side for them, here's something for the bright side. I mean, they're not going anywhere. They're the major player in their sector for a reason. But if the major player in the sector
imagine
take a 200 million hit in revenue, and this is a well-run company, imagine a less.
Yeah, imagine somebody less who have the cash resources. Somebody might just fall out of the business or get swept. Or the clients might just move out of the end.
Yeah. Corona exposing more pre-existing conditions. Because, wow. If the big guys are feeling this,
Imagine.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the quarter, I should say, I didn't actually say, they reported a loss. Yeah, $15.8 million loss. And they can afford to take the loss. And I mean, they're good. They're more than good. In terms of cash, they actually ended the quarter with more cash on hand. They're fine. Right? Yeah, they're more than fine. Same period last year, they had 58.7 million in cash. This year, they have 143.6 million in cash.
So, I'm going to open the previous report so I can check what it looks like. Because I want to see the cash at the end of the last quarter. So the comparison of this quarter specifically, as I want to see.
Okay, you want to say, okay. Yeah, because I did.
Because, the usual cash flow 6 months. So
yeah, well, open the previous it's a snapshot.
Yeah.
And maybe them don't want people like you know. For them thing that
So interesting, eh? So they ended last quarter, January 31, with cash of 100 million, and they ended this one with cash of 143 million. So they made they ended this quarter, but cash wise better than they started it. So despite
which is to be expected, meaning a higher revenue business with a loss is to be expected that they would have ended with an increase in the cash position. Well, based on the type, you know what? I'm being biased because I immediately started thinking about the type of business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because these guys would get like deposits.
No, so when they said high revenue business, I was like, hey, that never really add up to me. But then being the main event, then yeah.
Yeah, it's a type of business. I always have to look out for that, Like when I add bits of data mentally, and have to remember that everybody else not hearing these thoughts, bro. You have to say, you're right. High revenue business doesn't mean that it would definitely have cash. It can be a high revenue business and just dead same way. Patty shop in a high corona area, that lock is still a high revenue. Well, it was a high revenue business till it lock, right?
Yep.
Cash can burn down. That's really good that they have this one. That they also get a little tax break in the future.
Yep.
Maybe, probably not. Well, if up to the 6 month mark, they had to. I don't think you think they'll finish the year with a profit.
Depending on Corona, say.
Yeah, I don't. I think what's been happening with the current restrictions, you see, they're slowly being eased. You can stay out now until I think what the latest change is that is as at the curfew goes up to 11 now.
But then it's also the thing there, the restrictions on public gatherings.
Yes, it's now 20.
Yeah, that's still not a party.
Yeah, still not a party. That as even is not even a grow. As considering doing a smaller grow.
Or wedding restrictions stay.
Wedding is a gathering.
Yeah, but do they have a special size that they can allow, like wedding and funeral?
Not to my knowledge. I think it stays.
Wedding
I think it's just
any
gathering.
These guys. So yeah. I don't. Yeah, I think funerals is a special. You get a special thing there. I think, but weddings, no.
You get. I don't think there's any special dispensation for funerals either.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I think it's just a restriction. Is the restriction.
I mean, you can get main event to plan a small wedding there. Good.
Or you small funeral.
I was trying away from that one.
If I dirt. Wow. So main event, I think main event is going to be great next year. Yep. Also, I think they might end the year strong. I think what will happen is that by Christmas we will have. Well, I think there's also going to be an election this year, and that's going to involve some amount of events that I would be surprised if main event don't get some of that, just because of the quality of the work that they do and the size that they're able to provide. And they're probably getting very versed in offering like tooling up to be offer corona safe events. Yo, you know what? Then a side note, this is a tangent. Guys, so sorry about that chop you'd have just heard. I went off on a tangent and I decided to spare you guys the tangent because it didn't work out as clearly as I hoped it would. But we were talking about main event, Meeg, and I don't remember what was the last thing we said, but I think we can wrap it to say that I think that they are in dire straits now, but not dire straits. Yeah, I shouldn't say dire straits. They're in a tough situation now because of Corona. For them, COVID is not an excuse; it's reality.
Mm-hmm. And after Corona, they should be well positioned.
Well positioned, and I suspect Corona is maybe causing a lot of their weaker competition to die off.
Mm-hmm. It's a long-term opportunity for them.
Yeah, might be very immediate. You know, some of these companies live within the cash flow, so some of these companies might not be able to take a 6 months drop like this.
So it might just see customers switch over to the stronger people.
Yeah,
printing stuff.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if the companies don't exist, the companies don't exist anymore, right? Or worse, well, not worse. I should say better. You might see main event acquire a thing or two. Right now is a great time to acquire things if you have money, you know.
Indeed. Whatever others are fearful.
But big up Buffett. Anyone I mention him, you know. Sorry, his small home in Omaha.
Bigger than mine.
It's reality, brother. The man did not become a billionaire to live in a small home in Omaha. I'm sure he still owns it, of course. Went park the jet on the avenue. Out at the back of the ranch, which I believe is where he actually does park it. Next up is Mayberry Best Friends Limited.
We can book Mayberry and Mayberry together.
The MIL and MJE.
Yeah.
We will speak in very clear terms because I don't want to get my co-host in any issues.
I'll say what I can and leave what I
can.
I think MJE is the easier one to start with. I'm going to go into MJE first, as in to bridge into MIL, because they don't effect they have on each other. But MJE is the easier talking point with, you're the market down, and they actually invest while they're across the market. The big thing for them though is SVL. They have a large holding of SVL, which I believe still makes up. Let me stop that belief, because I think 47% of the holdings are in SVL, as of the last numbers, and they saw a hit of a price change in the company, 46% down, which means a lot, and most of the holdings are, we can see they put their top 10 holdings, I believe, here. Yes, top in 10 holdings, in the results, and they're down on every one of them. The market saw a big hit from COVID. They're a large company, so they invested widely. And
so they actually have a market hit.
They actually can say, the market is down, so we're down. So
as most funds
would. Yeah, man, a lot of money, so you can only so much can go into one thing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so
After $1 million, it gets hard.
and them are billions.
And they have billions. Yeah, there we go.
So yeah, so they're down on that. The effect that was on Mayberry. Mayberry is their parent.
72% owner.
Yes. So so they report MJE's numbers. So they take a hit if MJE goes down, and they take a positive. They get a nice chunk if MJE goes up. The holdings, not the company, not the price, the holdings. And since MJE is a large number, big gains for MJE, big gains for MIL, big gains, big losses across. MIL's numbers, you can see in the quarter, they took a $1.2 billion $1.2 billion. Boy, that hurt me, channel. $1.2 billion loss. No, cause that I can imagine that feel like I complain when I lose, when I don't X amount of million, and imagine how they feel being down on $1 billion plus the third channel.
I mean, different levels have different feelings, you know. To them,
True.
They might just be at their level. Who knows? This is well,
might say,
if you
opportunity by others very fearful.
Yes,
but you can see a big thing there, a big negative understatement. So firstly, they're down 50% on net interest income.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's just 10 million of the money. 50 million come from net interest income the corresponding quarter, same period last year, and they got 10 million this quarter. But their big money for them is the revenue lines below that, and a heavy loss they took from MJE. So MJE translated losses to them, but not MJE alone, but MJE and their total investment portfolio. So unrealized gains, they had that number, which MJE contribute heavily to. They had a $1.13 billion loss. When you look at it, that's pretty close to the loss figure that they made. So I believe most of the losses would come from MJE.
Okay, that's one assumption. That's a clear line you can draw.
Mm-hmm. The expenses are only 366 million.
But all right, we know the big deal here. Right? We know that MJE takes its hits from SVL, comprehensive income, the other comprehensive income line. I would say net profit for MJE is 1.1 billion, but the total comprehensive income has net profit, or I should say net loss is net loss is negative 1.1 bill, but the total comprehensive loss is 7.1 bill. So obviously a lot of the things in the OCI are hitting that. As every financial company is going to have to feel this. Tell me something. Do ECLs hit you guys?
Expected credit loss?
Yeah.
It should, I believe so, because the neighbor interest income portion, they do loans, margin loans and such. So I believe ECLs would
impact there.
Yeah.
All right. I hate having you have to talk dicey.
Same.
Yeah. It's I don't want put you in the heat. But I'll tell you how I feel about Mayberry. It's still Mayberry. Still the broker, the only house in my view. I shouldn't say the only, it's not the only anymore, but still the house that takes the equity market, the local equity market seriously.
The most serious, definitely.
Yeah, and the spaces they exist in, I see them taking it very seriously. Still have a whole heap of my respect. The reason I can't say the only anymore is because realistically, the Barita guys are not joking, and John Jackson also over there at QWI. John Jackson and team over at QWI also.
They're not a brokerage house. So.
Yeah. Well, that's why I edit to say like investment house, Hi guys, Randy here from the Future Jumping. I just wanted to stop for a minute and say that what you're about to hear is a lot of, I want to say unmitigated rubbish, but it's not unmitigated rubbish. It is, however, what it sounds like when you podcast while tired. I think you can hear my brain slowing down, and you hear me go on to not just describe QWI incorrectly in terms of what they do for business, but also reinvent broker. So I just putting this in here so that anybody listening to this who might be one, confused, two, not confused and thinking that what I'm saying is accurate, it is inaccurate. Now I just left it in here because one is good content and two, it lays a context for a lot of the conversation later on. So I didn't want to cut it out, but I just wanted to be clear here that after getting a little bit of sleep and listening to this while editing, and I thought, you know what, I need to make it clear that no, we were incorrect. Well, Dana is correct. I was incorrect. And I am aware now that I was incorrect. Okay, I just want to make it very, very clear. So don't worry, you don't have to tell me. I am well aware of what QWI does, and I know they're not consumer facing. Outside of the fact that yes, you can just buy the stock and you benefit from the expertise, which you hear Danai point out, just like MJE. All right. So with that said, here we go. We're going back into the conversation. But remember, I know I was wrong. I got some sleep and my brain started working again. No podcast while tired, guys. But you're right. They're not a brokerage house. You are correct. What do they do? Because they do offer service to the public, you know.
Oh, QWI?
Yeah. Like
Not
you can
really.
go to their office and do
Service?
Yeah, man. Have you looked at their website?
What service?
I don't know. That was my point that I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that you can actually get a service from them. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's news to me, actually. I don't know they offer services. Maybe something in the future, some might come.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. So people, that is 100% me. No, you know what? It's a misunderstanding on my part of the website. Let me put it to myself. It's a misunderstanding on my part because speaking to QWI as what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it is what it is. It's a holding of it's a fund,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a fund that's majority owned by JAMT. So they're speaking to that as them being a company and this is a service we offer, and they just happen to have a really big customer already, right? But it's not. I guess it's not like you can just walk in and.
No,
and
I think it's like when they get owned by MJE. I think they're the same by QWI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm saying I think I spoke of it as if it's like a
yeah,
regular consumer facing business when it's not. But it may very well be, right?
Yeah,
maybe if you do
invest in this, it's an investment option.
Not just that, I'm sure if you have if you have a company, like an actual company, and maybe in a listed company, and you want you carry a heavy float, you have a lot of cash on hand and you don't use it all the time, maybe QWI is literally a business to business, you know. Hey, I have $50 million that I don't want to keep earning this overnight paper on. This is turning out, it's sounding like a QWI investments ad. I don't explain it no more. Maybe I can link somebody there and have them come on and explain it. But I see it as an actual business now. Sorry, I think the problem is how you and I would have come to QWI as I've seen the genesis of it, versus now somebody who, let's say somebody who didn't know anything at all about them and just went to the website, QWI's website. You get me? So I'm saying like, oh, you know, so I was saying incorrectly. Oh, they're not really like, hey, we want you to come in and do business with us, but maybe they are. They're just not looking at like a me or a you. You know, they're not looking at somebody off the street, maybe, but maybe they're
be the business
perspective.
Just buy QWI.
Yeah. No, maybe let's say I have Randy's trucking, and based on how it works out, you know, running cost for it is 50 million or 30 million, but I have 70 million in the bank. So I know I always have this extra 20 million sitting there instead of earning little to nothing on it or earning
just buy
whatever paper. No, not buy QWI either. So I wouldn't say buy, like I guess it would be, so I would want them to issue shares for me.
I don't think that'll happen. Because then they would have to
why would it happen? They have the permission already to issue shares whenever they want, don't they?
Do they?
I believe they do. I'm speaking without checking, but I believe that they took that from the jump. No max.
Unlimited shares, having shares unlimited outstanding it still means they would have to
and the ability to issue as needed.
I'd have to see
But
that.
again,
I'll have to check that.
I would have to go and check it. Look at us not doing the usual research. But I can see QWI as a business, as an actual we want you to choose us. So business, not just buy the shares.
Them take away this invest. Do you know again to increase their investment or increase the amount of money they have basically? Just issue more shares on the market to a certain person.
Yeah. So the diverse investor.
Basically, yeah, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
But then, issue shares as needed. That'll be thing there. That'll water me down.
But you gave them the permission.
I need to check that. If that's there.
If they said it, if them say it from, I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know company law like the back of my hand, but
I can't see where that can be an issue. I can't see where a guy can say something. Yeah.
No, but if you give me the permission though,
I know, man.
So I think maybe they would have given you would have given them the permission from IPO if they said it in the prospectus. Then,
but company law or something. It's all
well, no, the prospectus can't go against it.
Yeah,
company law makes sense, man. It can't.
No. I'm not saying it makes sense. I was saying I might have a view as a company that what I'm doing is okay, but the law say
later on you hear otherwise. Yeah. Well, I know the law says you have to get shareholder permission.
Them.
Yeah, that is known. However, I also know that you can ask for the ability to issue shares as needed. Yeah, and they're not the only ones. Didn't something like that? Didn't I could be wrong, but doesn't Cygnus have that ability?
I have to check that.
No, we're definitely going to have to go on. Oh, look at that! More episode content. Yeah, more. It's work with a good payoff.
I'm not complaining about that actually.
Yeah, it's so funny. The only reason I know that you like this is the same reason I think I like it is because it's something that I'm not sure of, and I want to. I know the work is going to allow me to be 100% sure.
Bridget asked me the other day because we just randomly talking about some company, not on the market or anything, but it just became a point of deep analysis for me to look at what it does and whatever. Is this something? Is this where I like investing? There's a puzzle.
Yeah, and it has a I've been thinking about that same thing. That's why I like it. One of the reasons is that it has a definite, like an immediate and definite payoff, meaning there's a point past which you know whether or not you're right or wrong.
Yeah. Yes.
Like without a doubt. Like
whether or not I like it.
Exactly. But that leads us down another road that we don't need to go down right now. How the hell did we get to QWI? I know how we got there. You're talking MIL and MJE, and QWI and JAMT are very similar to MIL and MJE in that one owned heavily by the other, one is a fund administered by the other, that sort of thing. Interesting stuff, and there will be episodes on the stuff that we mentioned here in terms of the allowance to issue shares whenever and however.
So yeah, you said that.
Yeah, no, I have to check it here. I was pausing people because I'm thinking, can I go check it now anyway? Well, no, I'm going to stay on track. We're going to stay on track. So I'm going to jump past MIL and MJE and we jump to MPC, Caribbean Clean Energy Limited. The company that's now a fund, or is a fund that's
MPC.
I mean, why they jump to mind is that they did change. They're one of the first companies last year. I think they changed how they recognize something in terms
like
of.
I said, problems again with that. So things change back now.
Change back.
Yeah.
Oh wow. As in problems specifically with that, or just corona problems?
Just recognition, because the audit results came out today. That
within the reviewing process of the financials and the year-end discussions with the company's auditor, an appropriate change in applied accounting policies has been identified. Necessary changes have been identified and will be elucidated. In the management report of the quarterly financial report to be published soon. And what I'm reading from here is the delay notice which came out earlier. A delay of 10 days is expected, and therefore the publication date is presumed to be February 24, 2020. And of course, we know that when that happens, Corona hit. So, but one that they hinted at it there when they say appropriate change in applied accounting policies, which means one of the IFRSs, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And we know which one was the big one that they did. So, you think they might actually switch back? If them switch back, things don't look as good for them?
Yeah,
and I know that their statements came out, but I'm not okay. I'm seeing.
So what did I see today?
No, something did come out.
Audited financials, yes, see that.
Audited financials
For December 2019, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at the first quarter ended March 31st. No, wow, sorry. The wrong thing. 2019.
December 2019. So the delay is for the thing there. Delay
The full
is,
year numbers?
No, man, the delay is for the interim financials figure ending 31st of March.
Okay. So you have.
And basically extended timeline in the auditing process depends on partners from various directions. Some of the relevant service partners are from jurisdictions strongly affected by the pandemic. Some of those maintain and complete lockdown with a undefined duration. These duration. So what you just read?
No, what I was reading was old. It's from last year. I opened the wrong thing. So they put out a notice with extension to June 30th. And then they put out the audited financial statements for December 31st, 2019. You're not incorrect. That's what you're looking at, correct?
Yeah. And okay. The unaudited result report had net change in unrealized gain.
The unaudited or the audited?
Yeah. And then the audited has the same. So, all right. So I ain't gonna check this shit. I don't know what this.
Well, they tell you during the auditor's review of the financial statements, they were not able to obtain sufficient evidence to support the valuation gains which have been reported previously.
That's it. Yeah.
The valuations on which the previous valuation gains have been reported have been compiled by an independent accredited valuation company. Due to the structure of the fund, which invests predominantly through shareholder loans instead of equity, the lack in valuation gains caused the distributions received in September 2019, which have been funded by shareholder loans, had to be reclassified from dividend income to a capital repayment.
Mm-hmm.
You remember once we spoke about the difference between those two, a dividend versus a capital issue?
Yeah.
It matters sometimes, especially in some countries, and we know MPC is multi-country.
I think this is where we started that conversation, because they were paying dividends with no profit or something like that.
May have been. Okay. However, no impairment was recognized on the underlying investment. The deviations from the fourth quarter unaudited financial statement presented in the beginning of the year show now an income of $272,407 instead, compared to previous $1,893,063, resulting in an accumulated deficit of $197,402 compared to previous $408,377 retained earnings. Why did I use retained earnings instead of profit? In other words, tell me if I have this wrong, Danai. In other words, they're saying they had to reclassify it, and the dividend apparently counted before to the fund as income, but now that it's counting as a repayment of capital invested versus dividend, they can't classify it as revenue.
Yeah.
So because it can't classify as revenue, it also couldn't make its way to the profit line.
So then they couldn't retain earnings. So
they have a loss instead of profit. Wow. Due to the reclassification of the distribution received as well as the distributions paid, investment in the fund was adjusted from $11.5 million down to $9.9 million, and the share capital was adjusted from 11.12 to 10.1 million. Wow. Wow. I don't, that does not come across very well at all. So these guys have had to reclassify their income. And the fact that they've had to reclassify their income, well, what I think. Guys, you see why the audit report is important? Auditors saving the day again. Wow, let's give the auditors some credit here.
So wait, so what is this actually saying? So is it that they're saying that thing there? The
previous profits that they reported
valuation
are
gains aren't what? Aren't.
All right, so here's my
Are you saying
I'm
they disagree with the valuation gain?
No. Here's my understanding. I could be incorrect. Speak to an expert, a professional, as we are not. Remember before, they were dealing with a fund like a business, and so money to the fund from shareholders. The fund was funded by money given by shareholders.
Mhm.
And that's my understanding. I could be incorrect. Then they reclassified how MPC, the company, recognized their holdings. So they now started to recognize themselves as a company that held a stake within a fund. So they recognize gains on the shift in the valuation of the fund.
Yep. So it was no longer share profit because the dividend thing over there worked out for them, I believe. Because they were.
I don't know if the dividend thing wasn't working out for them as much as.
So remember, at first they booked that share of profit in associate, and then they moved to a stakeholding, say a stakeholding in a fund type of thing. So before share profit in associate was just recognizing the company, the
company's actual
as a thing there. Yeah. So they're just company do whatever it turn profit, then okay, so now it's a thing there. It's associate company of ours, right? And whenever we get a dividend from it, it would not show in the thing that it wouldn't show in our, it wouldn't show as profit when we get a dividend from that company. Get me? The same thing will go through JMB.
Continue.
Book share profit, they don't book thing, they don't dividend as
you can't book the dividend. Yeah, man, I'm with you. I'm with you.
So now that they book it as a shift, the valuation, so valuation gains now. So okay, so they move away from that to a stakeholding in a fund or so, the type of thing like an investment stake. Cool. So you book the valuation, the change in valuation of that asset will be booked as a revenue, and also book dividend gains from that as revenue.
Yeah.
So
now the auditor is saying you can't book it that way anymore. We don't agree with you recognizing it
that way. So they're saying
it would appear that way to me, and so they're saying you have to. Let me make sure I'm not misreading because it would seem like they're saying that you previously were recognizing it that way, and you said then that the fund moved in valuation from X to Y, right? Now we're saying that we don't recognize you owning the fund that way. I've lost myself.
They said they were not able to obtain sufficient evidence to support the valuation gains. So I wonder if they disagree.
It's privately. Yeah, they probably disagree with it, and I think how it works.
So are they telling him? So I'm not sure they're telling him to switch back to the share, to the associate holding. I just think they're saying, hey, the valuation, me and you have two different ideas of if that's correct.
Not just that, but because if they change how they recognize something, that's a major thing. That's like Sagicor and X1.
Mm-hmm. Evaluations on which the previous valuation gains have been reported have been compiled by an independent accredited valuation company due to the structure of the fund which invests predominantly with shareholder loan and self-equity. The lack in valuation gains caused the distribution they received in 2019, which have been funded by shareholders, had to be reclassified from dividend income for capital repayment. Based on this, the distribution of the company to the shareholder has been reclassified. Therefore, no impairment was recognized on the underlying investment. When you get a capital repayment, then you have to impair the original investment because it's money coming back.
Yeah. But you do the same thing. That's still the JMMB example, meaning dividends are reduce the capital standing. Like it's I'm screwing this up because I'm not saying it the right way, but that's like the dividends
like
don't touch the P&L. Yeah, exactly, correct.
But are they saying the capital?
The capital amount. My point is, I think the reason why it impacts here is that there was something that was accounted for as revenue previously, which is no longer revenue, and that revenue allowed them to have an account for a profit, and now they do not have that profit. They're actually a loss. But I want to be exactly sure on why. Like, I'm caught between going deeper. This is
that's going deeper right now. Actually,
yeah. I think I don't want to delay it, and I don't want us to get distracted either. I think MPC deserves its own episode.
Yeah,
and I don't want us to guess our way through it either. I want us to do the guessing in a space where we don't feel like we're rushed. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Because this is actually very interesting. Because remember, from the jump, we had questions about MPC being able to pay a dividend before they had any retained earnings.
Yeah.
And it was never quite worked out. I know it's even worse because the dividend has now been paid. What is bothering me here is that they speak to the dividend, and then they speak to the dividend also impacting I think I understand it. It's a share. I don't know why I'm confusing myself. But we'll save that one for its own episode. MPC, look out for it. Maybe we can even get somebody from the company to confirm with us, or give their view if they're open to it. And maybe an accountant. I mean, obviously not the auditors. That's not allowed. I wouldn't expect it. But yeah, maybe we can do something on it. Unless you want to keep going that way.
No, I realize I need some to actually look into these people.
Yeah, this one is going to cause, like, I can see myself right. It's just going to cause me a whole heap of research immediately. But I want to get some more companies down. So next up we have Margaritaville.
And boys, another rough one for them.
MTL, Margaritaville Turks Limited.
Yeah, Corona slapped them.
How things look with them? I mean, they're in tourism, so they've been,
You know, them operate off of the cruise ship thing. So,
yeah. So they're directly affected.
Not so nice for them.
At all. Is this an old report, or am I looking at the wrong thing? No, they're reporting up to the end of February. That's when their third quarter ends. I have that right? I do have that right. So they're reporting up to the end of February. And that's our 9 months, our third quarter. Revenue is looking nice for them. I know you're talking about revenue is looking no. No, well, I mean, the revenue increased $5.5 million last year to $5.8 million this year.
That's February though. That's right before the hit. That's right before
right
COVID.
Before Corona hit.
Same like ECL.
Yeah, just like ECL. Yeah. Do you know why they do that? Why they report up to February? You have any idea why they pick that for the financial year?
What do you mean? Or the it's just, I don't know, but it's just not unconventional. 3 months.
Yeah, but there must be a reason for it. I suspect it might have something to do with the tourist seasons.
Maybe yes. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Because tourist seasons follow a certain
not necessarily
a certain schedule. Yeah. But yeah, hit by Corona. Shot through the heart. Still,
it's a good thing. A good quarter right before.
Exactly, right? And Margaritaville itself, I mean, strong backers, and they have a strong asset base. I'm sure they're worried. I am sure they're worried because they eat a lot from the cruise ships, correct? I think it's public now. I think it's generally known now that most cruise shipping companies, the earliest date they have is like September or October to start back. Most of them, I mean, all over the world.
Yeah.
That's just it. So I think these guys might have to take a heavy hit. It'll be interesting to see how local tourism changes. I said it before that I think we might see more of a focus on locals being included in the tourist product, versus just not exclusively, but so heavily overseas people. I believe locals make up about 10% of the business of the tourism sector.
Locals are also going through it, so.
Exactly.
And
but hey,
for
I saw Instagram over the last 2 weeks, people, and I see all the pictures on Twitter. It look like everybody staying at a nice little hotel.
yeah,
So
well, that only goes so far down the tourism trickle, you know.
yeah, and it's not the same level of
The tour
dollars
bus not
spent
run
at
the same
all.
way, exactly.
Yeah, you're not you're not going to fool $3 for that cup of coffee. Well, I can't say that. It probably costs more than that. Wow, let me put my coffee down. I mean, MTL, they're going through it, but I think they're strong. I think they'll survive,
Yep.
and I suspect they might find opportunities in this.
And they're a good quarter right before the hit, so stay strong.
Stay strong, yeah. And these guys obviously know what they're doing in terms of money.
Business all around.
They're not new.
They do well for themselves. The principals. Yeah. They seem to know business well.
Yeah, and they know the markets.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the big dog, NCB Financial Group Limited.
Run this fave.
It's my fave these days. They closed the quarter ended June 30th, 2020 at $136.43. I don't think I've ever seen them that low since the peaks that they reached late last year. Wow. Yeah. What do you think is causing this, Danai?
What do you mean?
Well, sorry, they were lower yesterday at 135.05.
It's 131 today, didn't they?
And they traded as low as yesterday. They traded as low as 131. Today they traded as low as 135.
Not so bad.
Yeah, not so bad. That share price is going through it. This is NCB's is a great example of a share price is not a company.
Mm-hmm. Them always feel it.
Not,
then everything else going.
The company is not its shares.
Mm-hmm. Whenever there's anything like heavy around in the market, then NCB gets hit. Which is funny because then they bring the market average down with them.
I mean, they bring everybody, not just the market average. I mean, they bring the unit trusts down. They bring so many things down when this price falls. But again, great example of share price is not the company. Share price is not the same thing as company health in most cases.
Yes, I believe the hit is it's oversold. It's easy to oversell NCB because so much people hold it in such quantities.
That's big though. You sure it's oversold? I mean, PE ratio of 13 times at the price it's at now, 136.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, and they have reported up to March 31st, 2020, which means we don't see the April, May, June. We just finished the April, May, June quarter, right? So they suppose they have a hit there. When also their expected credit losses, have they accounted for them in that 6-month report, or do they account for them at the 9-month mark? Or do they save it all up until I don't think they can save it all up. I think you have to.
It's a credit impairment. When you face it, impairment loss at the time. I think they're in March, but there might just be more coming, to be honest. But generally, the first hit of e-sales are usually the heaviest.
Yeah. If it's one company that is extremely spoken out, is this one, right? I mean, we talk about it heavily. There's not much else we can say about them. That they're the giants. They're huge. They have a strong business line. I won't even bother to go into the numbers too deeply. Definitely not going to do that here right now. But NCB is only stronger. It has only grown stronger, I suspect, since the last time they've reported. I also suspect that the Guardian Group is being NCB eyes, like they're whipping it into shape. They're farming what it is that they want. they might have to face a couple of hits while they reorganize the Guardian Group, and also why they account for the expected effect of COVID on the business that they're in. I mean, they are in the loans business, among many other businesses. They are major players in terms of the regional financing, infrastructure game. I mean, Trans Jamaica was them. Big projects in Guyana is them. Huge loans in Trinidad is them. And there's, I'm sure, a whole heap more to come. We see them gearing up and setting themselves up as a proper multinational, a proper conglomerate, regional conglomerate. Well, more than regional financial powerhouse. I still continue to love them in 10 years. Do I love them right now? Share price getting hit. I don't know. And the next set of results come out when? August?
Yes.
Yeah. So who knows? There was a little time before the report, but I mean, I love them in the long term. Yeah, there's NCB's NCB. They're the biggest company, the biggest publicly listed company in Jamaica, the strongest publicly listed company in Jamaica, and they'll be more than all right. They'll be fine. Continue to make billions, and I'm interested in seeing what they'll look like in a year or two. Okay, I won't even waste much time on that. What's next? Palace Amusement. Another Corona hit company.
I feel we talked about this recently.
Yeah, we did speak about Palace. Like I can feel us talking about Palace from before. Corona hit company. They only reported up until their May 31st. March 31st, sorry, not May. And at that time they were looking at a $49.2 million loss.
So imagine now. They haven't operated really.
Sorry, maybe I have that wrong. $53.3 million loss. Wow.
So it's basically worse now because they haven't had any showings at their locations. So no movies playing. The best they've done so far, I think, is the pivot they've tried to do to sell the confectionaries. Basically.
Sell the confectionery to people at their homes.
At their home, but I doubt, one, the take up of that, and two, how much that will have a significant effect in covering their losses. So it's just something to do. Like, try your best. Don't sit down and do anything at the moment, but do something at least. Get they're going to spoil them, sit down there, so I might as well sell them, right? So you don't have to hug that loss. So minimize loss as much as possible. But I think the loss will be significant for them, despite.
Yeah. I mean, they're one of the companies. If I could chart a company, they're one of the companies I chart.
Yep.
Maybe that's when we said it. maybe that's when we said it. So who knows? Who knows? Yeah, not much more to say about Palace.
Yep.
Yeah, really going through it. Yeah, yeah. I feel it for them.
Or they say they're pivoting. They're looking at, so they're asking the government if they can open and just have some measures in place to cover themselves on that level, or with the thing there, to cover themselves with the COVID spread and their contribution to it. So, have the place open, but you have some social distancing measures in place for the consumers. But the thing there, they also are looking at going back to the drive-in movie model. They're looking at taking that on.
Bring back drive-ins.
Okay, then I carry things so good.
Yeah. No, all four of us can watch a movie for the price of one. I mean, I'm sure they'll check for that, but who knows? Wow. It'll be very, very interesting to see how they pivot out of this.
Hide on my girlfriend trunk.
Yo, that's a good idea, actually. Because the back seat can open from the trunk. Huh.
Those make sense.
Look at that. Hypothetically thinking of how to steal revenue from the company. They really have their work cut out for them. I hope things easier than our country if they continue with their expansion plans, if they can. Yeah. yeah, it's so sad. Like I can't help but think about what could be done, but I'm sure they'll come up with something great. Next up is PBS, Productive Business Solutions. Ooh, now PBS had a bit of a, what I call it, a surprise profit.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'll open anything there.
I mean, last time I saw results from them, I mean, they dropped the annual report now, but that's just the audited numbers. But they're up to I think March 2020. Up to March 2020, they had a loss of $612,000 US.
Yeah.
Yeah, as they continue to bleed with the new business that they've taken on. I call that bleeding. I wouldn't call it bleeding. No, brethren, that I've had long back and forth with about PBS, but I realize we see the market differently. So I would say PBS is another one of those long. I mean, well, PBS is obviously what it has always been, right? A longer, slower hold. Give a lot of people a lot of money between last year and now.
Indeed.
And it's, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing, but it did. I'm going from memory with that because I know it gave a lot of people a lot of money between last year and now. But I wanted to catch an exact point. Ooh, they ended the quarter down heavily at 55 cents. I'm looking at the US dollar shares, by the way. It's one of those boring companies. I don't know. So,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I mean, they can be exciting in terms of what they're doing. They're acting like a conglomerate and they're consolidating a business, obviously for the long haul. And I think they're looking for some efficiencies because they're in tech, right?
And distribution, so like distribution, no less.
Yeah,
efficiency is their game.
Yeah, efficiency must be their game. Cash flow obviously has to be a big deal, and they have some lucrative opportunities, sort of. Xerox is in my mind. I think they have something to do with Colombia and Xerox. I think they own the Xerox dealership in Colombia, or they share the distribution of it.
Colombia,
whatever it is.
Costa Rica or something like that.
Costa Rica, yeah. I guess I'm not very excited about PBS, but it's another one of those companies that I believe has been set up because it wants to take advantage of the long-term nature of the market, so it has benefited from that. Corona impacted as much as Corona impacted the businesses that it has itself in. Maybe if the offices use less stuff, PBS has less money coming in, less wear and tear, less maintenance, and they make money from maintenance and selling of items in some countries. Yeah, not very excited about that. However, on the other hand, you have something a little more exciting, which is PanJam. PanJam, which itself was a big dog and still continues to be a big dog, actually. Huge, one of the highest valued companies on the market.
Yep.
Meaning in terms of market cap, 77 billion. Closed today at 73, closed the quarter at $73.05, which is down heavily on where, well, not heavily, but down from where it started the quarter, because we went into the quarter with $77.50 as a share price, and it ended the quarter at 73.05, so a bit of a drop there. I think PanJam benefits and suffers. So people think of it when they think of Sagicor, or maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
I think maybe they might have something interesting coming, but that's me and my flights of fancy.
Yeah, man. There's the house spoken to some degree that the hotel for the last, I remember they were planning to do an APO or rights issue or something like that. One of those type of things. We've yet to hear where that's going, but they had a hotel building out in Mobay. And first I heard of it was the thing there. Well, not first I heard of it, but they were doing some. They're seeking loan money to do it, and then they said there is some APOs. They're gonna think of doing an APO for whatever reason. So there's stuff coming, but I know they wanted money for funding something.
Yeah.
They do have some amount of JMB, and they recognize JMB's share price in their the trading gains from JMB in their income statement. So they are tied to Sagicor. They are tied to Sagicor and JMB at this time.
But I mean, you said, I mean, they earn from JMB's share price or from share price?
Share price,
yes, because they're one of the smaller owners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think they're
8% or something they bought. They have
something like that. Yeah. And anybody who wants to know can check the top 10 owners, which are in the financials. So they have associated companies that are exciting. I mean, don't they? At one point, people were speaking about.
Oh yes, the thing there.
About Chucker coming to market, and I believe they have a stake in that. They own Newcastle.
Yes, and they
which
have
owns Walker's Wood and Busher Brown sauces. They have the Courtyard Marriott, and they have I think are they the ones who have? They have ITEL.
Yeah.
Oh, they recently took a stake in ITEL.
From 15%.
And they also have Tropical Battery.
No, they have Tropical.
Tropical. Who's Tropical?
Yeah, I think they have Tropical. I think they have Tropical. Yeah, I know Shoka is thing there. It's Portland. Shoka is Portland and Panjam, and I think Portland has a piece of Tropical too.
Okay. Yeah. So Portland is Tropical Battery. That I do know because Portland did put a stake in there.
Portland, Portland invested in thing there. In the
Tropical Battery, in a diverse
assets Inc. So that's the thing. That's the Melville family holding, I think, or the holding that they own. The thing that
it is
Tropical and Chocolate. You know, I'm saying it for correctness. I'm saying you know, I don't know that's for a fact, but I would believe.
Yeah. Well, regardless, Panjam has been around for a long time. Obviously, it also has a 30% stake from Sagicor, which should have faced a hit, and we know Sagicor might have even more of a hit to face because, again, Corona and the expected credit losses that all financial companies are facing.
Yeah.
But Panjam is also one of those older Jamaican companies that has survived many things and will continue to survive many other things.
Indeed.
The old and slow, and less old, but also big in terms of its fund. You mentioned it earlier. Is the next company that we have, which is PJX, Portland JSX Limited.
They've been in profit for quite a while now. Profit button turner or profit switch.
Yeah. You remember they put out a notice? Was it last year? They put out a notice stating like they was kind of putting it on the nose to people, saying, "Hey, we just want you to know that our investment phase of our business is done. Here we go." On January 15th, they put out a notice saying, Portland JSX Limited has completed its investment phase and looks forward to accelerating growth of profit and shareholder value in 2020 and beyond. I'll jump to just what the company's chairman said. As we enter 2020, the company has completed its investing phase, and we are pleased with the portfolio of 10 businesses that has been built. There are quality businesses that are diversified geographically and across sectors, and the portfolio includes smaller, higher growth, younger businesses, as well as mature industry leaders. More importantly, we are optimistic that the hard work and effort that the management of these businesses has expended to date has positioned the businesses for acceleration of growth and profit and shareholder value. So nice. Corporate speak for, the investment thing that we did do, we're done. Money time now. Just expect cash. I think, of course,
the money they've been making so far is fair value gains. So for this year, because the thing, again, so the interest income is down, like from 25. So first quarter, let me just find the whole year and just find that there, man.
Well, what they are is that they're sorry, they are a partner of a bigger fund, the Portland.
So they invest into the bigger fund.
Yeah, and sometimes they invest alongside the fund.
Yeah. So the interest income down from 55 million last year, 55,000 US last year. Really? Ah. So thing there to 10,000 US this year. But they have a large thing that the Fair Value gains turnaround. So they had Fair Value losses last year of 665,000, and they've gone to Fair Value gains of 2.3 million Fair Value gains. So the holdings of the fund, they're doing well.
Well, I mean, this is funds are big money playhouses, right? This is great for like a pension, like a heavy money person, maybe other companies, that sort of thing. The people who have really long horizons. Yeah, I mean, they're well diversified, well put out there. I think they were ignored heavily in terms of being in the building phase, as they say. And I suspect had all things remained equal, they would have maybe shot up in terms of share price, or certainly show strong returns this year had everything worked how we wanted. To say Tropical Battery IPO, which they have a stake in, or they have a stake in a company that has a stake in. I expect that they would have maybe gotten something out of it. If Choco IPO, they would have also gotten some benefits out of that. And maybe those companies will still IPO. Who knows? Maybe that's what Corona might force. I can see Corona forcing maybe a Tropical Battery to IPO, but maybe not. Who knows? Maybe somebody offered Tropical Battery the money for cheap on terms that they were okay with. But how would that help?
I do see them going for the IPO bit. With the thing there, but
I think there's too much tied to the IPO.
And they want to build the thing there. Their location over, I think, the ferry.
So, but I believe the ferry there was a story about the ferry going ahead,
Is it done, right? Or it started or done? Which one? When last I go in a car and last year,
so June, about a year ago, they were talking about putting 60 million into it, and up to March this year, they're saying that they are in the IPO after they relocate, so they're almost done. Yeah. But then again, that's up to March. I like this story I'm looking at is Sunday, March 1, and anybody who pays close attention to the market would know that 3 days later, as soon as the first case was reported, the entire look at the market changed. So they may or may not be going ahead with that. But I believe that they will. I mean, it has a beauty of it, right? They still have to finish the work that they're doing. They still have to pay for all of the stuff that they have. I mean, the bills don't stop just because Corona come, right? So who knows? They were pretty close. In the March article, they actually said that the final draft of the audited financials were ready, and they expected to list the stock 45 to 90 days after they've been valued, after they've done their valuation. And then, of course, Corona happened, but I suspect that these guys will be coming back to the market and quickly too, right? And I hope that they'll come back to the market quickly, and I hope that they'll kick off a great start in the market.
Agreed.
But look at us looking deeply in a company that's not even listed. Well, to look at Portland. I think Portland will continue to do. It's low and slow.
Agreed. Yeah.
It's the simple truth of it. Yeah, it's a leeching, and it has a leeching influence, and leeching has not lost yet. I mean, I'm sure he tell you he's lost, but he's turned his L's into W's.
Indeed.
Yeah. Next up, we have Proven. I think we'll wrap it on Proven, because Proven is quite the company. Another one of the young stalwarts.
I watched something recently. I interviewed Chris Williams. Interview, and he spoke about his start with Proven.
Yeah, what do you think of it?
Okay. I don't want to hear more stills. It's only interesting. It's not like a good story.
Well, reach out to him, ask him if he want to come on the podcast. Proven as it is, its fates are tied to its associate companies, plus its operations. Its associates are its biggest associate company is JMB, right? And JMB is very likely to face some financial hits because of Corona and ECL and JMB's own ownership of Sagicor Financial. Yeah. So who knows? Proven might take a hit from that. So part of Proven's cash flow would have come from expected dividends from JMB, and JMB having been not prohibited, but JMB not being able to pay a dividend during this time might also impact what happens with Proven. And of course,
Dream.
The market's not necessarily being open right now.
And then there's Dream.
Exactly. Dream IPOing. And Dream hasn't made any money. We see why didn't put off?
Dream Weekend. But they have thing that they said no refunds.
Yes, they did say no refunds, right? Because that was part of the thing that was stated.
Yeah.
However, who knows? That could work out well for them, right?
Yeah,
that could mean that could mean that they end up seeing a profit because they have all this money collected, all this cash
tickets were sold.
Yeah,
and they've
had that cash for a while, right? And they have the partnership with Proven, who obviously knows how to invest a lot of cash. So that might help actually. They said that they said that they'd be back next year. So that'd be good. They have another associate. What is that associate?
Not us. AFS Basel. I don't know.
Oh, that's that bank.
Yeah, Basel.
Yeah, so you're
Basel
saying
so the next subsidiary is Access. Basel is a subsidiary. Because Access is not thing
an associate.
Associate no, because they sold out so much. Yeah.
They had an APO also. The APO closed. the APO never was. Yeah. And they said that it was closed. Then they came back and said that I guess maybe they didn't follow. I wondered about that. Maybe they didn't follow to the T the APO rules, or did they? But they made sure to update everybody in terms of what happened with the APO, which is pretty much to say that it was closed. And it didn't happen. So the wording of it makes it unclear whether or not it happened and closed,
or thing,
or if they withdrew it completely. Because how they speak about it is they say the rejection of applications tendered, no new ordinary shares were allotted by Proven, resulting from the APO. But remember, the APO was it was
underwritten by Sagicor.
There we go. So I guess there might be some
might go on, no? So I don't know, because of ambiguity. I don't know if it's that okay, the offer is closed. It's closed. We don't want to take anybody else's money, but Sagicor, because as our underwriter, will fulfill the obligation, and then we'll go forward whatever deal, and then whatever works out. We get the money from Sagicor, and we'll go forward and do it. Or we're just not doing this APO right now. Sagicor keep the money, we keep our money. I'll just do the thing. I'm not sure what's happening there, so I want clarification on that. But my hopeful mind is telling me that it's saying to me that I want Sagicor to do its thing and give them the money, and then they go for it and make the deal, and then we work out in the market to hold whatever else happens. That's my hope. But
yeah, I hope so too.
I don't want to run away with hope, so that's where I mentioned ambiguity.
I suspected that. I'm more excited about what is that they were coming with, what they're going to do, right? They spoke about regional financial acquisitions. Yeah. I just want to see what it is that these guys are buying. And whatever it is that they might have wanted to buy, I am assuming that it must be even more attractive. It must be even more attractive now, months into the coronavirus, right? Anybody who needed money before was selling, probably even more influence to do it. Or who knows, maybe a date has passed. Want to watch because they want to watch it, but also they would also have to face some of their own expected credit losses. Would they? I'm just trying to figure out what kind of hit they have coming outside of the loss of
But I think they will face ECLs because they do have loans on the books.
But you said
expected credit losses.
JMMB. You said JMMB and ECL. You said JMMB and Dream.
Yeah.
But and Access.
Oh yes, Access. So yeah. It was a good time. They sold Access at a good time.
Oh yeah, but I mean, a lot of it happened because of them choosing to sell Access. No, meaning in terms of its share price.
Yeah, man. But still.
Yeah, great timing. Wow. Great timing indeed, because Access is definitely going to go through. But again, a little bit of roughness can be good for a business like Access, but maybe not too much.
And good for a business like Proven. Whatever they were buying might be coming at a better price to them now.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding at earlier. I think Proven might be good. I'm going to cut it short here because I think we're wearing this thin, and I do want us to be more excited about what's happening. I don't want the people to get on dreary from us. So I'm going to cut it short at Proven. We have this, still a lot. We've gone through, what's that? Almost 15. Yeah, almost 15. So, guys, I'll call it
15. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, almost through 15. It's not 15. It's more like 13. Yeah. But 13 companies, not bad. If you want to add to it, we can look at no, we'll save the next one for PTL and Pulse, which I know.
If anything, I'm running to my dinner right now.
There we go. So, guys, thank you again for listening. We're running through these one quickly. I'm going to ensure that we actually have some guests also on this. So we're going to try and bring some people back to help us with the analysis of these and hear maybe some other views other than the stuff you'd have heard from Dana and I. Maybe somebody can come with something.
Cover also may say, boy, I need to check this.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. With that said, this has been this week's earnings season. I'm Randy Rowe.
And I'm Danai. It's your boy Randy. You're still on the draw with this one now. He's Randy Rowe at RT on Twitter.
And he's Danai at H Danai on Twitter. And this has been this week's earnings season. Big up.
Big up.
Only if a girl love me, girl just a faint.
Earnings season, bro.